Woman giving birth in the delivery room suddenly discovers that her unborn child is violently pulling at her uterus. This immediately alerted her that something was wrong. She hurriedly informed the doctor of the situation. The doctor, however, told her not to panic. He explained that it was just that the baby's head circumference was relatively large, and that this was the largest baby he had ever delivered, weighing at least 6 kilograms to start with. Just as the doctor was about to pull the baby out, his expression froze instantly. Meanwhile, her husband outside was eagerly awaiting the birth of their second child. Unexpectedly, the next moment, a nurse ran out of the operating room covered in blood. Before the man could even react, the nurse stumbled and fell to the floor. Realizing something was terribly wrong, the man rushed into the operating room without hesitation. His wife, already terrified, was incoherent and screaming. At that moment, a nurse suddenly walked in and discovered that the child in the woman's womb was gone. The umbilical cord had been torn apart by something unknown. This instantly enraged the husband. He suspected that the hospital had colluded with human traffickers to steal his child. Seeing the man growing more and more agitated, the nurse had no choice but to push him out of the delivery room first, and then called the police. When the police arrived at the hospital, they quickly reached a shocking conclusion, claiming that his wife had given birth to a monster. They suspected, based on the bite marks on the nurse's necks in the delivery room and the blood at the scene, that the monster born to the woman had bitten all the people in the delivery room to death, and had finally escaped through the hospital's ventilation ducts. The husband found this explanation utterly absurd, because a few years earlier they had given birth to a healthy baby boy. There was absolutely no possibility of a genetic mutation. He believed that the hospital must be up to something, so that very night he hurried home with his wife. Little did he know that their monstrous child had quietly followed them home, and soon the nearby neighbors fell victim. The next day, a female neighbor was walking to work when she suddenly heard the sound of a baby crying not far away. Driven by curiosity, she slowly approached the hillside. At first she thought it was an ordinary baby, but when she got closer, she sensed that something was off, as the female neighbor met a mysterious death on the hillside. The police quickly surrounded the scene, and, based on the bite marks on the female neighbor's neck, determined that the cause of death was identical to that of the nurses in the hospital delivery room the day before. To prevent any further horrifying incidents, the police immediately issued a manhunt for the monster, warning the townspeople not to go out alone. But people were extremely curious about the birth of the monster. Every day someone asked what the poor couple had done to give birth to such a creature. This immediately forced the couple to stay indoors. However, the terrible events did not stop. One day a milkman came to deliver milk to the neighborhood. Unexpectedly, when he opened the gate, a figure darted straight into his truck. When the milkman returned to the cargo area, tragedy struck. The police swiftly arrived at the crime scene. Based on the blood droplets on the ground, they quickly focused their search on a house, but when they held their guns ready to apprehend the suspect, they found only an ordinary baby, and the monster had vanished without a trace. That very night, the police received another tip about the monster, saying it seemed to have run into a local kindergarten. They promptly dispatched officers to the kindergarten.